Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, a narcoleptic comedian, and this is the podcast where I interview people in my bed and we talk about sleep, comedy, and relationships. This week I interviewed Aidan Park. He's a comedian and also helps do the podcast What to Do show with The Laugh Factory. So be sure to check that out and subscribe. You can follow Aidan on Instagram at Aidan Park Show. That's AIDAN Park Show on Instagram and Twitter. He and I had an awesome conversation. We talked about coming to America from Korea when he was younger. We talked about robots, talked about relationships, secrets, so many things. Theater. We talked a lot about theater. And we just had a really fun conversation, and I really hope you enjoy it. Sleeping with Sarah is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah to get a free audiobook of your choice. This week, I'd like to recommend Sick in the Head by Judd Apatow. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. If you want to catch me live, you can catch me this upcoming Sunday, December 8th at Bar Lubitsch in West Hollywood for Wild Weird Comedy. Doors are at 8, shows starts at 8:30, and it's free. If you like this podcast, please rate, review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. That makes a big difference. And if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sarah Albritton. Well, let's get started with the show.
Sleeping with Sarah.
Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm in bed right now with Aidan.
Woo!
How are you?
What's? Oh my God! You're like sexy. You're like leaning up against me in like women's lingerie. But it's not lingerie. It's
this
like,
is not lingerie. This is a tank top and shorts.
I'm just so not used to a woman in my bed.
Or being in a woman's bed.
Or being in it's your bed, actually. You know.
Yeah, no, well, I guess, am I the only woman you've ever been in bed with?
Well, I've been in bed, like, girlfriend, but you're like in like, like, hey.
I guess, I don't think...
No, you're not. You're not being seductive or anything. But I'm just...
Apparently, I have a very sexual, flirty energy, just naturally. That's something I've learned about myself, so I don't know.
Well, hey.
But, that works.
Good, yeah.
I like your Avengers shirt.
Thank you.
Are you a big Marvel guy?
No, I just found this at Target, and anything that like kind of makes my body look good, I just buy it.
Oh, that's a good philosophy to have.
Yeah, I don't really care what it is. I just want to.
Yeah, that looks good.
Thank you.
How'd you sleep last night?
I slept okay. I totally one of those nights where you've been like out all night. Like last weekend was rough. Like I was out like basically not home. Like I was out all weekend, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm still recovering. It's like Thursday, and so I slept like 11 hours.
That's fantastic, though. Do you feel good?
Yeah, I feel great.
That's great. Mm-hmm. So you're ready to go and do the day after your 11-hour sleep?
That's right. Woo woo.
Do you usually sleep that much or just to catch up?
I'm so high energy.
Yeah.
They probably could tell I'm very high energy.
Yeah.
I'm so high energy that I'm up for like 14 hours and I sleep for 10. I'm like out.
That sounds...
What about you?
Well, for me, I have narcolepsy, so my whole thing's a little different. I take medicine to stay awake, because otherwise I'd just sleep all day.
Really? Mm-hmm. You could do that, like just literally.
Yeah. I wake up, I guess how I would feel is if a normal person were up for like 3 days straight. That's how I feel like every day. And so I take pills to stay awake and I manage it, and yeah.
Did you say, I'm so sorry, maybe it's like just a cliche for comedy or like, did you say that you had depression or something?
No.
No, okay.
No.
I feel like if you have depression, then like this is a great disease to just kind of let yourself go to sleep all day long.
Oh yeah, when I have had depression, so I have been depressed before.
Okay.
I don't think I currently suffer from depression. I try to keep myself in check about that. But when I am depressed, yeah, I just escape and I just sleep all day and just live in my dreams.
You could like do that all the time. Do you have that option available to you then?
Not really, because you still have to live and work and make money and afford an apartment and all those things. And I want to be awake and live my life because I spent 2 years before I was diagnosed in high school, 2 years basically sleeping like 20 hours a day. And
oh my God.
Yeah. And
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, narcolepsy. A lot of people know it from like some comedy movies, like Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo has a person that has narcolepsy in it. It's it's a pretty rare disorder, but it's you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's a lot more to it than just falling asleep and falling down, but it's something I've learned to manage. I think everyone's got a thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Most
me too.
people have,
Everybody.
You know, whether it's like bad eyesight or ADD or whatever, everyone's got a thing. And, you know, the cool thing about mine is I go straight to REM when I sleep. I naturally hallucinate, which can be very fun. Can also be scary, but, you know, just, yeah.
So you're on medication for it?
Yeah, I'm on medication. I have to be. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stay awake.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. This is so cool. I'm finding out about this. Yeah, you've talked about this on your podcast. Right?
Yeah, I do.
So this is information they've heard.
Yeah, a lot of people do know about the narcolepsy. I try to tell different things about it, I guess, but it's something that the awareness needs to be brought more of, because only 25% of the people that have it are properly diagnosed.
Oh shit.
So like, you know, there's 3/4 of the people that have it that have no idea, that are just like being tired all the time, and they don't know that that's what it is. So
well, I'm so happy that you're taking care of yourself and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I take care of it. It's hard to, you know, it's like a thing you just got to manage and deal with. So I mean, I can't ever have a boring job. So that's the cool thing about it is I can't live a boring life. Like, I can't have a desk job where I'm just like, you know, doing boring like data bullshit on a computer, because I would just fall asleep.
Yeah.
I can't have boring friends because I would fall asleep in conversation.
Right.
I can't date boring people because the same thing. You know, like, I basically can't live a boring life, otherwise I would just fall asleep.
Is that part of the diagnosis? Like, do the doctors go, okay, you have to keep yourself entertained?
No, they don't. This is just something I've learned.
Oh, wow.
You know? Because, like, you know, even when driving, I try not to take the same route every time, because then your body gets too used to it.
How interesting.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, because you can go on autopilot and not think.
Yeah.
When you do that.
Yeah, it's also, it's called automatic behavior. It's like for people that wake up in the shower, they do like the same thing every morning. Like if you keep a same, like let's say you get up the same way out of your bed, you brush your teeth, you take a shower. Mm-hmm. Some people like their body gets so used to that pattern that their brain shuts off and their body still does it, so that they can wake up in the shower and things like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little part of it. I'm not sure if I've talked about that part, but so
that's so interesting.
Thank you. Oh. So where are you from?
Korea. Yeah.
You were born in South Korea?
Yeah. I was born in Korea, and I actually moved here when I was 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you still have a lot of memories. You still have memories from Korea?
Yeah.
I've only been to the South Korean airport, because I've been to China, Cambodia, and Vietnam. So not.
Was it nice to you?
Well, yeah, I loved it.
Koreans are.
What? Well, I was just at the airport. So.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have time. It was like a 5-hour layover, so not enough time to like stop and.
Yeah. Koreans are like gnarly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a friend that lived in South Korea for several years, but yeah, I don't know any. Yeah, I haven't.
Did he or she like it?
She liked it. She's not Korean though. She's white. She actually lives here now. She's Vicky Eisenstein. She's
Vicky. Of course.
Yeah. So she's because she was like a D-list celebrity in South Korea, which I love.
She was on those panel shows.
Yeah.
She's cool.
And she's like fluent, and she's fluent in Korean and Mandarin, and I was like, that's awesome.
It's so cool. One of my favorite things was doing your shows and then talking in Korean with her.
Yeah. Oh, you guys talked in Korean? That's fantastic. So why did you come over here? Was it just
you know
family?
What was the impetus? Was actually I was raised by my single mother, and we owned a video store in like a small neighborhood,
like a Blockbuster kind of thing.
Like those corner video stores, like really small ones.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so I did that, and she was raising me alone. And the thing that really put it over the edge was she was concerned because in Korea, middle school and high school cost money to send you to.
Oh, it's not free. It's
not free.
Money?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
From my understanding. I might be, if I'm wrong, then I don't want to get a bunch of hate mail. So like, Yeah. But my mom was also very concerned that like she knew I was different. She wasn't, the gay thing didn't come into play, but she knew I was very different. Mm-hmm. And in Korea, they force you to go in the army. And the army suicide rate in Korea is super, super high.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They're very rough with you in the army, and all men go into the army.
Oh, no matter what?
No matter what.
Oh, wow.
And so she was worried about that. And then also, an incident happened where I came home crying one day. And my mom was like, why are you crying? And then apparently I was like, because my friend says he couldn't play with me. Why? Because I don't have a father. And
whoa. So that there's totally different cultural differences.
Yeah. In Korea, like, it's okay. I have a problem a little bit with sometimes with the way Korea runs, because it's a class system, and like people who are more fortunate can just openly discriminate against people who are lower class.
Oh, and just
like,
it's okay for them to, like, here, at least in America, they cloak it.
Right, they cloak it. Yeah.
I mean, that's shitty to say, but I mean, it does still happen here. It's just like cloaked in different aspects of where money goes and everything. But yeah,
like a woman, like an old woman, like even age, like an old woman can go up to like a subway station, you know, ticket booth, and the woman who runs the ticket booth will literally be like, where do you want to go? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, because she's old. Mm-hmm. And she'll be like, well, you gotta figure out where you're going because there's a line. Like, shit like that. It's like that. Whoa. To that extent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then you came over here. Did you have family over here?
My grandmother.
Okay, cool.
And so my mom actually had to go to work. Oh my God, actually, well, it's a story.
Okay.
You want the tale as the tale.
All right.
So my mom had me with my dad, who had a whole other family. Yeah, and you know, another part of Korea. And so he was running two families.
Was your mom married to him or no?
She was gonna marry, but he doctored up fake papers. They weren't officially married.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they like had a ceremony. In her mind, they were married.
Right.
And wow.
Mm-hmm. And he said he worked across the, you know, he worked in the United States, but then he was actually visiting his other family.
In the U.S.?
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they were ever aware, but like when I was 5, I don't know if my mom was aware or not. That was made unclear to me. But when I was 5 years old, my mom and dad moved in together, and we had a guy who was renting a room from us. And that guy turned out to be my father's son from another family. Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of...
You need to write a script about this shit.
Oh, it doesn't end there, sweetheart.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It's like... Not that... I don't want to call you sweetheart. I need to stop doing that. I'm gay, so I go, oh, honey. But then, like, I think that's bad.
Well, you know, I don't have offense to it. You know, it's like whatever.
As long as you don't, I don't care. You know? Yeah, I don't care if you don't do it.
So then you were brought. Were you brought to California then, or a different city?
I was brought to California, and my mom found a guy. I was undocumented, and so I was brought here. I think you know I talk about this in my act. Like I think because I smile a lot, people just assume I'm from privilege. Like I'm from Irvine. It's so true. Oh
my God, yeah. If you're like happy, I think people assume like everything is going good for you. I try to look at the bright side of things. That's like, you know.
I'm tall, and I'm like, you know, and I exercise, and I look healthy, and I'm happy. So I think people just assume I'm from privilege. that isn't the case.
Wow.
So I moved here. My mom found a guy who she dated for a year, who convinced her to support him through dental school.
Oh my gosh.
Right. She went across the country to support him through dental school because he was like, at first, I'll marry you if you support me through dental school. But then it turned into, she was like, I'm unhappy, I'm leaving. He started blackmailing her and saying, I'm going to get you and your son deported if you...
Oh my God.
And at that point, there are no resources. It's like the late 90s. Like, there are no resources. There is no...
Wow.
Champion of the undocumented immigrants.
So what did she do?
She stayed with him.
Oh.
Yeah, and then she got dumped immediately after he got his degree. Isn't this a bummer?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was raised by my grandmother in her senior government housing.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so interesting.
Yeah.
So then so then where did you start comedy? Like where did you start falling in love with comedy and doing comedy?
It was like way later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, when I first moved here, since I couldn't speak English, the way I could connect with other people was through comedy. And physical comedy especially.
Yes, because you're very physical. This actually makes a lot of sense. Yes,
Right?
yeah.
Because like I couldn't connect. There was no way to communicate.
Yeah.
And so my physical comedy was a way for us to have a shared experience.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff would you do? Like pratfalls and
Yeah,
stuff?
pratfalls and shit.
Oh, that's so great. Pratfalls and mom sees all these bruises. I just like fall sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like it was like a way to at least have a common experience. you
That's
know?
pretty cool. Yeah.
So
And then did you go to school in the States? Or?
I did.
Yeah.
I went to school and I was also gay, so there was a lot of turmoil there. But then I started doing theater in high school, and I was always a good singer.
Yeah.
So I did
you
a
can
lot
sing.
of musicals. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you a singer?
I can like. Alright, I can like sketch level sing. I can sing in a sketch comedy level thing. I wouldn't audition for like musicals, but I think I can do all right. I love live band karaoke. I dig live band karaoke. In Chicago, we would have where there's a full band that plays and you feel like a rock star. I love doing
What's
that.
your favorite songs?
Oh, I've got, I kind of go with like the girl rocker song. I love rock and roll, Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, Heartbreaker, you know, those kinds of, I'm Just a Girl by, you know.
I go for I do the rocker girl songs too, and like, I love my favorite is Hole. You know Hole?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, they have this song called Violet.
Oh.
And like, go on, take everything, and then just like, knock everything down.
Yeah. That's like a good rage song, right? Yeah.
I'm very rageful.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes.
You don't seem rageful. You seem so pleasant. And you have a great laugh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to get rid of that for stand-up, actually, but
It's part of who you
fuck
are.
it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, when did you start stand-up?
8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did musical theater for a whole bunch of years, and I was one of those annoying people who was like, oh, I'm an actor and I'm bored, so I'm going to get into stand-up.
Oh, you were, but you stuck with
Yeah.
it, so that's different.
I did.
Because there's a lot of people that do that and then just like quit after like 6 months. So.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Yeah. And then do you still act? You still act, obviously, because you
Yeah.
had an audition earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I have a resting bitch face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really helps me. I get a lot of villain parts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I can butch it up.
Do you have to play straight a lot of the time?
Yeah. Most roles.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that I act real flat.
Yeah.
No, we just don't add anything. Yeah. Flat.
Yeah, you act like too cool to like do anything.
No.
Oh man, that's interesting. I grew up acting, but I wasn't in as many musicals because I did more like Meisner stuff in college, so it was like all more serious stuff. What was your favorite musical you were in?
What was my favorite musical I was in? That's Meisner, right?
No. Oh
What was my favorite musical I was in?
What was your favorite musical you were in?
What was my favorite musical I was in?
Your favorite musical you were
I did all that shit. The Stella
Yeah.
Adler and the Meisner and all that shit. Oh, the Shakespeare. Oh my God. What was my favorite musical? Well, I did most of Miss Saigon.
Okay.
You know, I did 9 of those.
in? 9?
No, I went to China to do. I have a joke. I went to China to do Miss Saigon. That means the people from China had to fly to the United States to find a Korean to fly to China to play a Vietnamese person. Yeah.
That's funny.
I did that. I couldn't do it anymore. And that's actually my impetus for going into stand-up. Because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do any more Miss Saigon. What was your favorite like play that you were in?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hard. Let me think. I really liked being in Balm and Gilead in college. That was fun. That was like, I played a heroin addict, which was like a dark, fun role though.
Was there a fun line in that?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember I was like almost beat up by one of the people, and I don't know. It was that was fun. In high school, I was in The Lottery, which is like this short play where and I was the one that gets stoned to death. So that was cool.
I saw that. It was a Lifetime TV movie.
Yeah.
Starring Veronica Cartwright and Kerry Russell. I'm the gayest guest you've had for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Lottery, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
I
dark
was in
one.
that. Yeah, that was pretty dark. And the way they ended it too, and they ended it with like the paint it black. I see a red door and I want it painted black. You know that song? It's like it's like an old rock song. I can't remember who does it. This is awful. I'm horrible at remembering music
Whatever.
things.
Yeah.
I'm in comedy. I don't have to remember musicians stuff.
But you were in the lottery.
Yeah, I was.
Or you were stoned to death.
I was the one that was stoned to death.
Shit. So fucked.
I'm sure there are other things. Those are the ones that like I remember more. But I mean, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. But once I started doing stand up and comedy, it was like really gravitated towards that.
May I ask you questions about you?
Yeah, you can ask me questions.
Well, what brought you into stand up?
I had been doing improv and sketch for years, and I was part of groups that we'd do 8-week runs and then it'd fall apart. And I was tired of depending on other people. And so I wanted to do comedy every night without having to work on other people's schedules. So one night in Chicago, I just decided to go to an open mic, and I went, and I really liked it a lot more than I thought.
Oh, you're so funny.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thanks. I have a lot of fun with it. It's different. I never thought I would like it.
You have this one joke that every time I hear it, I hear it 3 or 4 times I've seen. I'm like, what is it? Every time I hear it, I go, ah! Like, oh, the robot.
Oh yeah, Sophia. Yeah.
Oh my
Sophia
god.
the robot. Yeah.
So good.
I am actually, the thing is that comes from real. Like, deep down, I am terrified that the robots are gonna like take over, and like it's scary. And the thing is, that's shit she actually said.
Yeah.
She actually said that
And she was like
wanted to destroy
evasively passive aggressive when she answered. She was like, "Were you kidding?"
Yeah. No. And that's, I'm so glad you looked at it, because some people like do look that up and they're like, that is really scary.
Yeah.
And if you see her on Jimmy Fallon, like she's done some really kind of eerie things on
Like
his
what?
show. Like, because he's had her on, and that she's kind of like made awkward jokes that like imply that she is like kind of evil. It's a weird thing. I forget what it is. It's like he's had her on 2 different times, and both times she said something that he like laughs off, but it's like really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I forget what it is. But I forget exactly what it was, but if you watch his interviews with her, it's scary.
I think the robots could take over.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, actually, that's why I like being in comedy, because like you think like comedy writers, stand up, like it'll take a long time for a robot to like take that job.
Yeah. It's
like you're like, for kids, like they used to never want people to like major in theater or major in the arts or whatever. Now they should just flock to it, because those are going to be the last jobs that'll be taken over.
Why?
Because I don't think robots have like artistic talent the same way humans do.
You're right.
Like,
I mean,
because I think they're great for logic, great for running programming and that sort of thing, but you can't program art, in my opinion.
Right.
But I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think?
I agree.
I mean, I think that there are different ways.
Humor?
Yeah. I think it would take a while for robot to be able to automate and write a comedy script.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah. It takes a certain different type of creativity.
But to be able to write a script for like an anchor on a news station to read, maybe not as hard.
Right.
You know? So like there's 2 different aspects to it. I mean, I hope that they don't take those jobs, but it's still like scary. And also like, who gets to benefit from that? Right? Like the whole idea of robots doing all the things for us is that we don't have to work. Where's that money going? you know? Like for all the people that are saving money, not paying people for work. If the robots do all the work and humans don't have to do as much work, why don't we just work out a way where people can just get money?
Like McDonald's. Yeah. You've been to McDonald's now, right? Recently?
I have not. I don't really eat a lot of fast food, so I have not been.
I'm trash. I'm at McDonald's all the time.
It's okay. No judgment. You do you.
You know what? Hey. I exercise a lot to pour it off the McDonald's.
You're really in shape.
Thank you. Orange Theory Fitness, woo woo.
Yeah.
And then McDonald's.
Orange Theory Fitness and McDonald's. That is your.
That's my diet.
Yeah, you should write a book about that. You could help people be like, hey, you don't want to give up McDonald's? You don't have to. Just join Orange Fitness.
Yeah, Orange.
You could be Orange
so
Fitness.
Hard.
I have not done Orange Fitness, but I have done a few intense fitness programs.
You're in good shape.
Yeah, I got the best shape of my life since I moved here. It's crazy. Like,
what do you do?
I hike. I hike like a lot and have sex, and those are my exercises.
You have sex a lot.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, at least,
great.
You know, like, yeah. I mean, I'd say, like, you know, like 4+ times a week or so. Yeah.
4 times a week? That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a convenient friend that lives very close.
That's right.
So that makes it easier.
Does that help with contraception? Because we hear a baby.
Oh, you guys can't hear it. My neighbors have a baby, 10-month-old baby. My apartment is amazing. Like, rent controlled, blocks from the Improv, great space, love it, great light, all this. But my room is right next to a 10-month-old baby that cries. And I think
does that help with contraception?
Well, actually, he never really makes noise when people are here.
Wow.
But I'm also very paranoid about being pregnant. So I am crazy. Like,
are you on birth control?
Yes, I am. But I also use other methods because I'm just paranoid.
So you double up, like.
Oh yeah, I double up. My mother, both times she tried to get pregnant, she got pregnant within a couple weeks. She's like, I want to try for a baby. 2 weeks later, she was pregnant.
Oh.
So I come from very fertile genes. So I'm and I'm always worried I'm gonna get. I'm always anytime I have a stomach ache, I just take a pregnancy test because I'm just worried I'm gonna be pregnant.
Do you want a baby ever?
Oh, someday I think maybe, but I don't know if I want to be pregnant. I think I want someone else to do.
What, really?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. So
I'm 34. Older or younger?
Younger.
Okay.
Younger.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good way to ask that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to have to reveal your age necessarily.
Oh, and that's so nice because in LA apparently you're not supposed to.
Well,
Yeah.
And you never can tell. Really.
Yeah, I go out for roles that are for 17-year-olds. But if you talk to me, I obviously am not a 22-year-old. You know.
Seriously, I've met women who gone out for 17-year-old girls who are 42.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's crazy. Well.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the baby is... Thankfully, this has never I think that's what always been my fear is, a baby crying and, But, the only, friend I have that comes over anyways, knows about it, so it wouldn't bother,
Yeah, luckily, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, there you go, baby.
Well, I feel like guys don't give a shit that much about that.
Really?
I don't know. I think that guys are just happy to have sex and they wouldn't worry as much about that.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I should have a playlist ready just in case it starts crying a lot. They should just get a noise machine or something. I'm sorry, I feel like a bad neighbor.
If I were if I were straight and I was having sex with, and then I would be more concerned about being heard on the other side.
Oh, I don't give a shit what that baby hears. What?
Or no, with the family and stuff, you don't care, huh?
Oh, well, it's just the baby's room. Their room is somewhere else.
Yeah, but don't they come in there?
Yeah, but I'm not crazy
really
loud, you know? Unless it's whatever. Unless I'm drunk. So what about you? Are you dating anybody right now?
I'm seeing this bisexual. Mm-hmm. And he's very nice,
Now, are men in the gay community similar to women in the lesbian community? Is it weird to date someone that's bi? I've had issues with dating women because they are averse to dating women that have also dated men. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So is it the same way with bisexuals in the...
It's not so much that. It's just there are... No, it's okay.
It's you're taking these dramatic pauses and then this baby's just crying.
Dramatic pauses. I don't know if it's dramatic pauses or brain farts. I kind of feel like bisexual men don't really exist that often in the gay community.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't met very many. Mm-hmm. And this is the first real guy I've sort of dated who's, says he's bisexual. Mm-hmm. And he really is bisexual because I did find bisexual porn on his computer. Bisexual porn, by that I mean straight porn. I was like, oh my god, they're real. And
he really likes boobs.
He does. And I know it was him because it was Asian slut gets hers or something like that, right? And I was like, okay, well, I guess he's into Asians, at least the race part. You know what I mean? The race part is right.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. I guess, but it is a little concerning because, you've seen my bit about mathematical breakdown of the chances of being cheated on by a bisexual, or at least the population that's available to them, 11 times the likelihood. Yeah. That worked it out. 11 times. Yep.
That's crazy. So you were just really good at math and statistics, or just specifically did you research that just for the joke?
I actually sat down and broke it. Should I do it for them?
Yeah, actually, let's hear that. Yeah. If you want to, yeah.
So the breakdown goes like this. All right, so if you're dating a gay guy, right? So if you have 100% of, so this is the population that would be available to them, right? So if there's 100%, women are out, so we only have 50% of the population left. That's men, and of that, they also have to be gay in order to have sex with, my boyfriend. So that's 10% of the population, generously. 10% of 50% is 5% of the population. If he really likes Asians are 2% of the population. 2% of 5% remaining is 0.1%. 0.1% of the population, we give him an attractiveness rating of 30%. That means the people. 30% of the people he likes like him back, right? Like just attractiveness wise. So 30% of 0.1% is 0.03%. And that is the population that is available to him if he leaves the house. Right?
Yeah.
No, but if you add women back in the equation, people think just double the number. That's not how it works. What happens is you add women back in, you're not getting rid of the 45% of the straight female population. You're leaving that in play. You're getting rid of the 5% that are lesbians.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So 45%, 2% of 45% is 0.9%, attractiveness rating of 30%, of 0.9% is 0.3%. So my chances of him finding somebody went from 0.03 to 0.33, and that's 11 times the likelihood.
Wow.
Yeah. Not crazy?
That is crazy. That is crazy with the mathematics of that.
But it does check out.
It makes sense. And I haven't thought about that. I guess for me, I'm pretty averse. I think I'm overall averse to monogamy as much, just because I don't want it. Like, I'd rather there be honesty versus the cheating.
Yeah.
So it's more like, hey, let's be open, or let's make our own rules. Like, hey, if we're both out of town, or whatever.
If that's what you're into, then go for it.
Yeah.
But I know that I've had a relationship recently, before this guy, where we were super, super monogamous, and I know what wonderful things can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is good.
Yeah. And that is the relationship that I prefer for my life.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. And I think everyone's different. And me, I'm probably just more like afraid of like being hurt like I have before. So it's like, it keeps people at a distance.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm kind of struggling with. I'm like, but with this guy, it's like, there's a lot of traps for me personally. And I talk about this with him and he's okay with it. It's long distance. He has children. Do
you want to be a stepdad?
I mean, they're older. They're like 17, 20.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of just like traps. And I'm just unsure about whether or not this is going to be workable. And so I'm kind of not entering an agreement to keep myself safe for that very reason. But I know ultimately I'm going to want to be with somebody who's going to be monogamous with me.
That's good.
And it's very important to me.
Yeah. And that's good that you know that. Like I'm still figuring out what I want. I'm just like, I don't know. I've just been in LA like a year, so I'm still like new city, like that
having
vibe.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
It's good.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah. So you said when you started stand up, did you were you talking about your relationships or personal stuff on stage, or did you take some time before you did that?
I did.
Yeah.
Because the turning point actually came because like, I'm a big old bottom. And I have major daddy issues.
Did you ever play Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream?
I did.
Are you serious?
Yes, Wait, no, I'm sorry, Puck.
Oh,
I'm getting the characters confused. No, I didn't play Bottom.
I did a monologue from Puck. I love
Did
Puck.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a fairy, thou speakest aright.
Yep,
I'm the very
right.
wanderer of the... How the fuck do I know that? What? I can't believe that just came... Like, that I still remember that.
Well, of course. We're very...
Yeah.
Shakespeare, once you remember it, you can't really forget it.
I know. But that would have been really funny, because like that mean that their casting knew that before you even knew that, right?
I think everybody knew that. So yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah. And so I noticed that, within the LGBT community, like, and I also have daddy issues, whatever. And having daddy issues is something that is not necessarily looked positively on or whatever. And also being a bottom is not necessarily something that people are celebrated for. So I decided to start talking about it on stage as a way to dissipate energy for myself, as to not feel shame around it. And so I started doing it, and it like totally freed me up.
Oh yeah, it just made you feel better about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with me in the narcolepsy. I kept it a secret for a long time until I started talking about it on stage for stand-up. Yeah. And then that just freed that.
Isn't that interesting? Like when you...
Yeah, when you're just honest and you share your truth, it just makes it so much better. And then you accept it and you accept yourself more and all that. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's important to me. Like that over any... I think keeping a secret of any kind really limits... I think secrets are dangerous.
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous thing. Because if you hold a secret that you don't... I actually think that the people who, like... I think there is a correlation, like, people who end up, like, committing suicide or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, there is a part of them that they're not sharing with certain people because then there's always an out. Like, if I'm, like, completely open with you, because I don't really have any secrets. Like, I tell you everything.
Yeah.
Then, and we're still friends, then, I am a likable, lovable person, even with everything that I have to put on the table.
Exactly.
And, here we go. I have genuine friends. If you're holding a part of yourself back, you could have this genuine connection. It's like, but if they really knew...
But if they knew my real secret, then they wouldn't accept me, and I wouldn't, and you have that fear, which is great for dramas and television shows, because you have that at the crux of a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
You think, like, Breaking Bad, freaking, Good Girls, like, there's a lot of shows where they have, like, deep secrets along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, for real life, it's kind of detrimental to relationships.
It's tough. Yeah. And I do think that a lot of people actually... One of the benefits about being gay is that people almost treat you like a lost cause. Like, basically, I can't go wrong. I can do whatever I want. I can wear booty shorts on stage as a stand-up comedian. And if a straight guy wears shorts on stage, it's disrespectful to the comedy community. If I'm gay and I'm on stage, it's a fashion-forward movement. Oh. Like... Or, I get a lot of my straight friends who are in relationships who get pressured about, like, when are you going to have a baby? When are you going to get married? Nobody's going to bother me about that. No. I'm basically a lost cause to be able to do whatever I want. And I can say whatever I want. And there's a certain freedom and power in that, which I really appreciate about being gay.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think my stand-up was for that, for me and my family. It's like, doing comedy, people stopped asking me when I was going to get married. And they're just like, okay, you're going to be single for a while. We get it.
Isn't that, like, empowering, though?
Oh, it totally is. Because, like, that's not on my priority list. My priority list is, like, the top few things are comedy and writing related. So it doesn't matter, What about you? So do you do writing as well?
Yeah. Actually, like, where I've been, it's interesting where my career is kind of heading is like, I'm becoming like the comic with like advice. Yeah. Kinda.
Oh,
like
cool.
I started, like throughout the years that I had moved here, I kind of like, when I first moved here, I had nothing, right? Like my family, like really like I was dirt poor. So I really like glommed onto the idea of like, this is the land of opportunity. So make your own change or whatever. So then I really like bought into the whole self-development, self-improvement kind of thing. And it actually really started when, out of high school, I got into all these colleges and I couldn't go because I was undocumented. Like, it was
wow.
like...
So you got into a bunch of, like, for theater school or for what?
Yeah, for theater school, I got into a bunch of UCs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And my SATs, like, I studied my ass off and I couldn't go to college. And, like... Or I could go to college, but, like, it was, like, so expensive. Like, it was like $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because at the time, there weren't any, like...
Yeah.
Subsidies or people to help people in that situation.
Yeah. And so then, are you ever worried now with everything that's going on and the people that are in office?
No.
No,
not really.
That's good.
I mean, like... I don't know, worried about what? I mean, I'm documented now. I'm a citizen now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be like, I don't know. Like,
no, totally.
You were saying like you weren't, and you were talking about in college, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So you were able to get that?
Yeah, I got my green card when I was 19, and I became a citizen when I was 27.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a relief then. That's good.
Yeah, but like right now, I think a lot of people have a lot of resources, and a lot of people are protected in that circumstance, and I didn't choose to move here. It was, my mom that I saw it like, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah, obviously, because you wouldn't want to be in the army.
That and Korea. I struggle with this. You tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
Like literally, because I feel like sometimes here people like are like, okay, well, that's just a cultural thing, so we need to be respectful of a cultural thing, like the way that Koreans kind of have a class system, and that's kind of like the way they do things, so we should be understanding of that. That's the United States stance, kind of, when
and
it comes to other...
and also other religions and things like that too. But at the same time, you look at other religions that are kind of taking away like women's rights because of their religions. So I'm kind of torn on that.
Right. So where's the line there?
Yeah, it's strange because it's a hard line to cross, and I don't know where the line is, to be honest. I don't know enough about Korean culture to be able to say that. But I
if as a religion that, you know, let's use gay, right? Okay. So like something I know. So like if certain religions are really like, you know, against gay culture or whatever, and like almost like okay to encourage violence against the gay culture.
Yeah, I don't think that encouraging violence in any way is like is good for that, you know.
But then you got to be culturally sensitive to that. It's so odd.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't know where the balance is with that, but I understand the struggle with that. That's like confusing. And also just like for people that are like it's like, do the women really want to be subservient, or is it just indoctrined in them at a very young age and they end up kind of almost, you know, manipulated into being that way? Right. And it's like this whole thing, you know, like...
I actually think like this. Like, it's based on where you're born and what you're comfortable with. Because I think that if I were a straight guy... born in a small town of the United States, like I'm talking like a population of 1,000. Okay. And I never left there. And everybody around me was Republican. And all what you did was like you married into whoever was around you and you worked on a farm or whatever. If that was my thing, then I would likely be a Republican farmer. And I'd be totally okay. There would be no reason for me to venture.
Probably would have married a woman. Yeah. And had kids and... Interesting.
There wouldn't be any reason for me. We'd like to think that we'd be considerate of other people, but it's like whatever's right in front of you, right? So if you're like in a town of 1,000 and all the coal mines or whatever are closing down around you, and the Republican president is like, oh hey, like we'll help you get your job back with the thing that's right in front of you, then I could see myself voting Republican. Right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just what the circumstances you're kind of brought up in, and there's a difference. Earlier you mentioned that you had become the comic with advice. Yeah. So what kind of advice do you end up giving people?
Well, like people just started writing into me.
Oh, they write to you? Yeah. So through like Instagram or
through Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. I gotcha. Like what kind of questions do you get?
All kind. Well, actually, I got kind of off topic, but like I was, I got into that whole self-development world. Yeah. And so I wanted to make sure to, that's the topic that interested me. So I started talking about that more and more on my Instagram, and then people started writing questions like, hey, I'm gay in Tennessee. What do I do? Oh. I'm, questions like that.
Got it. So like kind of advocate advice, those kinds of questions. Yeah. Oh, wow. So almost like your own little like... Ask Abby, but ask Aidan.
I actually have a column.
Yeah? On you do? Where?
ThePrideLA.com.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I have a podcast, What to Do show, where people call in and ask questions. And
what are some weird questions you've gotten?
There's this girl who... This happened this week. There's this girl whose husband's father doesn't like her because he... like the last girlfriend that he had, and but the last girlfriend is a meth addict, and the father was also a meth addict, and so they think that they hooked up at like a gas station or something. It was like,
that's nuts.
Yeah, there's shit like that. Yeah. No, I'm in love with my ex-coworker, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the whole, like, people dealing with their exes or what to... Yeah, it's just... nobody knows what they want with love, especially in LA.
No. Do you?
No idea. I'm afraid of love.
Are you?
Yeah, I think, I was in love before, and I got my heart broken, and I almost didn't recover from that. So, yeah, I'm totally afraid of love.
What do you mean almost didn't recover?
Like, I just, like, couldn't... It took me... I saw the guy for, it was most of college and a little bit longer, so like 5 years. And it took me almost the full amount of the time of the relationship to get over it. It took me a really long time. So, like, it's scary.
Was that your first?
Well, no, it wasn't the first relationship
The
I
first
had.
love.
Yeah, the first real love. Yeah, I thought I had loved somebody else before, but I didn't, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then there's even someone that I dated here for a long time, and the thing was that I told him I loved him, but only when I was like half asleep, like half awake. Like when I'm fully awake, it's like I'm much more guarded. So,
Yeah.
so I only really told him I loved him when I was like half awake, and that is just my subconscious, like being like, you know. So that's that, you know. Like I've got my own like messed up stuff. I should probably see a therapist. Then I'll be an LA local, right?
I have 2 psychics.
Oh, so do you do crystals and stuff?
No, not really.
Do you have psychics though?
But I have psychics. Yeah.
So what?
Isn't that funny?
So you don't have a therapist, but you have so what is a psychic really like? So why do you have 2? Wait, first of all, yeah, I understand like psychics will kind of predict what's going to happen to you. Right?
Yeah.
Tarot is like one a tarot.
It's not like that. It just kind of showed up in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean they just like appeared?
Okay. Do you know what happened last year?
No.
I don't want to shock anybody. So I was with the guy for 5 years, my boyfriend, and he passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. And so in LA, your boyfriend passes away, and people buy you sessions with psychics. It's just what happens.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so I ended up talking to these guys, and actually one of the psychics showed up when Michael was going through his transition, and he strangely, like, correctly predicted the timetable and exactly what was going to happen. He was like, oh, something's... He didn't even know. I didn't tell him any details. But he was like, something's going on in your life right now. And by the beginning of June, that'll be over. And then you will go up north and make a lot of money on a short-term job assignment. And at the time, I was like, with Michael, it was April. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to pass in June. He passed in June. And then I ended up going up north for a job assignment.
Oh.
And that's how I actually got into the whole advice thing.
What was the job thing?
No, it was I was doing I just needed to get out. I just needed to get
away, yeah.
Yeah, so I do political consulting part-time.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I organize people to gather signatures for various causes. And there was like there was a gun control issue up in Washington.
Yeah.
So as soon as that happened, I just took any job, anything to get
your mind out of it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be stuck and just, you know, not have things to, like, the good thing about having a job is somewhere to be, somewhere to do something.
Leaving.
And also that feels productive too, because you're helping other people and
leaving leaving.
Yeah.
Sorry, it got real dark.
It's okay. It's it's totally fine. That's life, you know.
Yeah.
But comedy, that's the thing. With comedy, you can always come back to that. Even, it can still be dark,
Well, he helped me write my jokes for 5 years. Like, he was like super cheerleader, came to every single show. And anybody who's known me before, Michael passed, like, has met Michael in the comedy community. And so they all know him, and he was a big part. So I make sure I try my best to keep him in my act as much as possible.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Amanda, all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome that you had a partner that was like so supportive of everything, because I think people struggle to find that sometimes. And stuff, especially in stand-up.
Yeah, so we've both experienced some heartache.
Mine was a really long time ago, and I, definitely beyond that, but I'm still like, I don't know, like, I'm having fun doing I'm in love with comedy right now.
Yeah, good.
So I know you usually do advice on relationship stuff, but do you have any advice for other comedians that could be listening on,
Yeah, don't go to open mics too many times. That's really my advice.
Really?
I would not. Mm-hmm. I would say bringer shows are better than open mics.
Really?
In a lot of circumstances, I think open mics are soul crushing. I don't think comics listen to each other, and I think you can go and repeat the same jokes. But like, how do you get a proper gauge on what jokes work and not if you just kind of are echoing into an empty chamber?
And this is specifically LA comedy, because like comedy in other cities is very different.
Right.
But
if you're in LA, don't go to open mics too much. Like, go a few times or whatever, but like, don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rely on.
It's soul crushing.
It's
I mean, like, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had almost 5 years in Chicago before I came here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
you're a strong comic. You came prepared.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm glad because it is very hard to get a good gauge on things, but it's different.
Yeah.
But I love it. I still love it here. This is where all the writing jobs are. This is where the stuff is.
I mean, it's awesome. You just got to be protective of yourself. Mm-hmm. Especially, I feel like people who people are at different levels. I feel like open mics tend to be where people have been for many years and sometimes are stuck in that kind of energy. And there's a lot of frustration and anger in open mics. So if you're new and you're entering into that scenario and you're trying new jokes, it's not necessarily the place to foster encouragement. And I think
because people are so competitive here. Do you find that as well? Like when you go out to auditions and things, do you feel like people are competitive here?
Not at higher levels.
No.
At lower levels, yeah. Like if you're going to at open mics, yeah.
No. Commercial auditions too and that sort of thing? No.
Because I think the ones that are green are competitive.
Yeah.
But if you've been here for over...
insecure. I think it's a level of insecurity too.
Yeah. I mean, you've been acting since you're very young.
Yeah.
So, you're not green.
Yeah.
Like, if you're green, you're like, oh, I'm against these guys. And then those people burn out.
Yeah.
But if you're going to stay in this business for over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then... Yeah. There's no way you can do that and maintain your sanity in this industry.
That's true. Which is why there's a lot of crazy people in LA.
They're all in the valley.
Oh, yeah?
With 17 roommates.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's insane. Is that where you live in the valley? Or?
I live in Koreatown.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I love Koreatown.
Do you?
Great. Yeah. Actually, this is something I didn't mention before. So my brother, who is my biological brother, so he's white, but one of his best friends growing up was Korean. And so he went to Korean school. He was the only white boy in Korean school on Saturdays because one of his best friends did that. So he went for years, 2 or 3 years. And one year, my mom, I don't know. My mom was sick and my dad was out of town and he had the presentation. So I went to the presentation not knowing the whole thing was entirely in Korean. Yeah. So I didn't understand a word of it. But yeah, he went and he still can read it and speak it a little. But
what, your brother's friend?
No, my brother. My brother went. So his friend went, just as you normally do with your family to learn Korean. Yeah. But my brother wanted to go to Korean school. My parents were like, okay. So then he was the only white boy in Korean school.
Really?
Yeah.
I should call him.
He's in Eastern time right now, so it might be a little late because he's a newborn right now.
Oh, like
the
baby across the way.
No, a week-old newborn. I'm an aunt. I have a niece now. So, but yeah, he's he's the only white boy in Korean school, which is kind of awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, but
is he married to a Korean girl?
No, he's not. No. But yeah, he lives in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I'm from. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is that very different from Chicago? So you were in Louisville.
Grew up in Louisville.
Oh, right. And then you moved to Chicago.
Well, I went to college about an hour and a half away from Chicago.
Okay.
With a Meisner school at NIU. And then I went to...
So it was Meisner, just strictly Meisner?
No, it was just pretty intense. So it was... That's why I did comedy on the weekends and on breaks because it was very intense. Someone would punch a wall in one of these rehearsal rooms every year, and there'd be they'd have to repair the hole in the wall every year.
God.
Because things got intense.
Did you like Meisner?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It is very intense. I've played a heroin addict. I played someone that died in a prison. I played somebody that's been abused. I've played so many dark roles, and those are emotionally tolling.
What would you say you got out of the Meisner school?
I think it was really great. I think that, I got discipline, absolutely discipline. Mm-hmm. Really figuring that out, being able to get to a quick emotional place, quickly, being able to not, to memorize lines without assigning a specific emotion to them as well, and be flexible on that. Right. Not having, hey, I have to say it or I memorized it in this way and I have to say it this way. Right. Being able to be flexible with how you say a line. And it's odd because I'm a writer now, but with Meisner, it's it's almost, they teach you almost the lines don't matter because you can put that emotion behind it. But as a writer now, I can conflicted thinking about the past because it's oh, wait, the lines clearly do matter because as a writer, I care about that. But the thing that they didn't teach me that I wish they had was to create my own content and to write. And
Right.
so that's the one thing I wish they'd taught me in acting school. So.
Actors like have so no cachet in this industry. Like it's so rough for actors.
I think I would have hated LA if I came here as only an actor.
Right.
You
I
know?
came here as only an actor at first.
But
then
you switched. But I mean...
It was the most miserable couple years ever.
Was it?
Yeah, for sure.
So what about you with acting and that sort of thing? Did that take off for you when you moved here? Or
No.
did it take a while? No.
No. The first few years, no. It was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get arrested. It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, I was like trying to be an actor, you know, and I kept like trying to fit into the mold. Like, I was like, okay, well, should I, you know, do I become, what do they need me to become?
Yeah.
In order to whatever.
So you kept trying to change yourself to do that.
Right. And it turns out that when you stop doing that, that's when you start getting stuff.
Yeah. It's always like that kind of thing. It's once you stop like worrying about it or thinking about it, it just ends up like coming together.
Yeah.
And then for you run a few shows too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you when did you start running the shows? Was that just for fun or?
What do you mean? Like, you mean on
comedy
the
shows?
comedy shows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I did a few shows. I did the Laugh Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I did that one for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, that's awesome to have a show at Laugh Factory.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a Rainbow Pop.
Rainbow Pop.
It was an LGBT themed show, and it got me really connected to the community. And it was a really great way to like. We had a lot of sponsors from like the LGBT Center or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome to get sponsored too. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And that was really.
I think
fun.
running a show is important, and I feel like. I don't know if a lot of people in LA run, like in Chicago, it's pretty normal for people to eventually just run a show. And in LA, it feels like a lot of people just don't.
Do you run?
I run 2 shows. Yeah.
Yes.
I run the Wild and Weird Comedy, and then I run this other show, Upstart Stand Up, which is like at this creative living facility, which is oddly like what you said.
Really?
Like 17 people living in a house, like it's like a bunch of people sharing small quarters, but it's all creative kids,
Uh-huh.
And so it's like a built-in audience. It's super fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just for the people that are part of that community. And so that's just like a fun thing. And then the Wild and Weird Comedy that I do with Kristen and Pavs. Which is
I love
fun.
Kristen.
Yes, she's awesome.
And the other girl's really funny too. I don't really know her, but she's really funny.
No, like it's just I was lucky that when I moved here I had a couple other people from Chicago. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. What else are we gonna say? Well, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, and then you also talk about like having to do the pressures of having to do stuff on Instagram a lot.
Yeah.
So because
It's
you have
stressful.
because you have a following, you feel like you have to like please your followers every day, or is it?
I feel like Instagram's consistent Instagram and social mediaing is the reason why I get anything.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because of your Instagram following?
Right.
Well, I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure.
Oh no,
there's
I
other
mean,
things.
you got to be funny on top of it. You can't just not be funny.
Yeah.
But like, I'm funny, and then what else have you got to offer? It's not enough to just be funny. You can't just be funny.
Oh.
Yeah. What else have you got to offer? LA is such a competitive town, and comedy is such a competitive industry that you've got to have something else to offer. So what is it? I mean, at the end of the day, it really is about selling tickets. That's why the comedy clubs want you. Like, to come in. Can you sell tickets? Can you fill butts and seats? Or you're always going to be the second or third fiddle.
Can you repeat what you said just a second ago about the following and you can't just be funny?
You can't just be funny. You can't just be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else do you think somebody needs?
You need a social media follower. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about it. It's a business, right? So if you're a comedian, if I'm a booker, or if I'm running a TV news station, or if not TV, if I'm running NBC, if I put you on the air, are people going to watch you? Mm-hmm. If I put Margaret Cho on the air, people know Margaret Cho. They're going to watch that show. If I put Aidan Park on the air, they're going to watch.
Yeah.
Right? We're not sure yet, right? So, like, even if we're selling tickets, like, if I'm running the Improv, then if I headline Whitney Cummings, will they come see the show? Probably. If they headline, this person, will they? So, if you don't have social proof about, like, how many followers you have and how many people are interested in you, then they don't have any guarantee, and they could be losing money on you.
Gotcha. So the social media is almost like the insurance that, hey, it's okay to have you do this, and we'll let you run this room, and we can trust you with it.
I think so.
Okay.
Because then it shows, like, it shows people are interested in you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people are very, very funny. I know so many funny people with very limited following. And from a business owner standpoint, it's hard to headline those people, even if they're funnier than somebody with... That's why social media people are getting a lot of like a lot of headlining gigs. Like Stormy Daniels. Like there was that whole issue about Stormy Daniels getting headlining gigs, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Well, no, that's really good advice because I mean, I'm still like Instagram is like the big thing here. I don't really do Twitter as much, you know.
I don't really tweet either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a visual person. I like visual. I like doing stories. I like doing fun stuff like that, you know. And it's weird to see how many people look at your stories that are like knowing what you're doing every day. Yeah. It's like, wow. These people look at, like, they pay attention. It's weird.
Yeah, it's very, I feel like social media is huge. Yeah. And hugely underutilized.
Yeah. Yeah, then there's always something new, like TikTok or whatever, that's going to pop up, and you're like, do I need to join this new thing or not?
Yeah. I think it's important to keep up with the I feel like everything's going to technology, and I kind of feel like, unfortunately, we're theater people. Theater's somewhat of a dying art form, so we have to keep up or we become dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to adapt, right?
Yeah. Is that sad?
No, it's true. Like, you got to adapt to everything. But you think, like, you know, there's fantastic TV. TV didn't used to exist. TV is like, you know, a play on, you know, it's just different. It's a different format, a different way to, you know, fuel your art, funnel your creativity. Yeah. So... Well, now that we're winding down the podcast, I always ask people what your dreams are for the future, for yourself. For you, your career, your life, whatever, however you want to take that, whatever your dreams are.
You know what I want? I want a fantastic... I just want a fantastic life with lots of friends, with lots of money, creatively fulfilled, where I can kind of... take charge of my life in the way that it's going to go in terms of my career and like, you know, like lots of different avenues, like, you know, whatever that may be. I don't know. But like, I'd like to feel like I'm in charge and not under the thumb of some certain person or some certain industry. I'm in charge of my life. I'm surrounded by friends. I'm surrounded by loved ones.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
What about you?
Oh, for me, wow.
I'm sure. Have you talked about this before?
Actually, I think you are out of like the 90-something people I've had on the podcast, you are the third person to ask me back this question. Okay. Yeah. So it's been a while since I've answered it. I have a lot of goals. Dream for myself is to be able to do what I love creatively and be creatively fulfilled and have a comfortable life. Like I want to be able to live a good life and have friends. I want to create awesome stuff with my friends. I want to be able to like create awesome movies and TV shows with the people I love being around that are also funny, that are great and talented. I would love to create that sort of, whether that be TV shows or movies or whatever, you know, I would love to be doing that, you know, and on top of being able to do stand up for as long as I can possibly do. Like I want to be 80 years old and still fucking doing stand up. Like that's what I would love, you know? Yeah. And to make you know, like a little bit of an impact. Like I'd love to have some sort of, I don't know, you know, some sort of awareness with the narcolepsy and help with that a little bit and have money to be able to give back to people that have a very weird disorder like me and maybe help them out when, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Things like that. Like those are the broad spectrum things. But like, honestly, I really just want an EGOT.
What's an EGOT?
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Great, awesome. You can have it all. You can have that and that.
Yeah, I think I could. I would like to. I mean, that's like a life goal. It's like a dream.
You can be like Rita Moreno. I think she has all of those.
Yeah.
EGOT.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
It sounds familiar.
Oh, girl.
Who is it?
She was Anita in the West Side Story, I think.
Oh yeah.
Wait, wasn't she? Shit, I don't know. I don't remember. But she's in One Day at a Time.
Oh, God, I haven't watched that, but I know one of the girls that's a stand-in for that.
Old woman in...
Tim Asal is a stand-in for that, right? Yeah. I think. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways. Well, thank you for doing the podcast.
That was fun.
Yeah. And we always end by saying good night. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Yay.
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Aidan Park. Be sure to check out his podcast, What to Do Show with the Laugh Factory, and follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Aidan Park Show. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. We're brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. I'm releasing a new podcast each week, so please tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music, and if you want to find out more, please go to sarahallbritton.com and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sarah Albritton. Until next time, good night.